Today we're back with Christy and Chris. Stand over here. And Kara is behind me watching all of your chatting. We are going to finish talking about the calibration, and then Christy and Chris have some other tips that they want to share with everyone. So which machine do I need to go over to first?
Let's start on this one just real quick, because this machine went through the update process. We think it took about 13 or 14 minutes. We didn't have a timer on it, but then it brought us to this screen, which is the screen that then would tell us to do the print calibration. We've already shown you the print calibration. We can run through it again if you like, though. You just press go, and then it takes the mat in, and then it prints out that that image that we showed you before, which is back here.
So that's what it will print out when it's doing the is it called the ink calibration?
It's the print head calibration.
Okay.
It's calibrating this.
And then when it has completed that, it's going to spit the mat out the back, and then in the screen it's going to say blade calibration. It's going to do that, which is what we've been doing over on this machine.
That's what we were doing when we left off, right?
Correct. So this is the design that it prints out. The cutter head moves around, it looks for these black lines, and then it's also going to come and look for these black lines that are in 4 different places on the mat. When it's done with that, it's going to place a small cut, about a ½ inch long cut, along all of the numbers at the top and all of the letters along the side. The screen is then going to ask you to find the cut and the letter that most closely line up with each other. So in this case,
exact center, right?
Exact center, yes.
Okay.
So if you were to look at H, you can see that the cut and the print are almost exactly aligned with each other, almost right on top of each other. And so we would go to our screen, if you want to go up here real quick, and we would just move this down to H. And then if we look along the top, we can see our numbers here, and number 11 most closely aligns the cut and the printed line here. We go to the top, it's already set at 11. So at this point we want to do a test cut, and when we press test cut, it's going to cut a line on this spiral in the middle of the mat. And so I'm going to press test cut, and then you'll see it cut out that line. Now all that's really important is that that cut line is somewhere within that black line. And if you look at this, it remains inside it all of the way around. And so with that, we have a successful calibration, and we can click accepted up on the screen, and then it's just going to spit our mat out.
So I have a question. If at this point I cut around the spiral and it didn't seem to be in the center, how would I go back?
There are a couple of things you can do. There was a retry button that you could press,
okay,
and that would then allow you to go through this process again. There's also an advanced calibration that I'd like to show you. It's a fairly simple process, but it does take a little bit of time.
Okay, Tanya, really quickly, while he's getting another paper ready to show you how to do the advanced calibration, this finished the ink and aligning the print head. So then the next step, it came up and said to begin the calibration, which is what Chris was just talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and go in, let this go ahead and finish its calibration, and then we'll quickly show you how to do a quick project when we come back. So we'll have Chris go through the advanced calibration while this one's
calibrating.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so if we want to do an advanced calibration, to get to that screen, you first press the blade calibration button. It takes you to this screen. Now, to get to advanced calibration, you press this button here, this upper left-hand corner button, and then tap on the calibration button there, and it takes you to advanced alignment options. In advanced alignment options, you've got a few choices here. We can change the scale of a cut to a printed object, or we can change the offset of a cut to printed object. And what those mean are what that means is the scale is the distance between two cut lines. So if you've got your top cut line and your bottom cut line, how far apart they are from each other, or your left cut line from your right cut line, how far apart they are. Offset is the distance that the cuts on the top and the bottom are from the print, either too low or too high, or too far to the left or too far to the right.
Okay.
And so we want to make adjustments to those. To make an adjustment, you go to these check boxes, and I'll just show you how to do offset because scale is the exact same way. You click on the check box to get rid of the check, and then it activates these offset settings here. So if I want to say my top to bottom cut to print alignment is a little bit too high, so my cut is a little high and I want to lower it some, then I want to increase this number. And right now it's set at 20. I would try increasing it to about 35 for the first time. And then I would go back in and I would print and cut an image, and I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
So let's just pretend I've made my changes here. If I wanted to change top to bottom, I increase the number to move it down. If I want to change left to right, I increase this number to move it to the left, to move the cut line to the left. So I've made my selections, I click apply, and then I'm not going to do this again, the blade calibration, so I click cancel. I then can click apply here, and it's going to take me to my project preview screen, which I don't want quite yet. I'm going to go back one space, and I'm going to add an image. And the image that I like to use is a square because it's very easy to see the differences when you're cutting a square. So I'm going to select this middle box, which takes us to our basic images, and if I scroll all the way to the right, and there's a few different ways to scroll, you can either grab and pull like that, or there's this little box right here, and you can grab and pull it. I've got this square with these rounded corners on it. I'm going to select that. I'm going to press the edit button, which is the little pencil. I'm going to fill it. I've got some patterns here. I'm just going to fill it with a color. And I'm going to make the size about 3 inches. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I can get a lot of 3-inch boxes onto one piece of paper, and I'm not having to waste a lot of paper. So I'm going to accept that. There's my box. I'm going to go through and I'm going to print that box. And then it's going to cut it. And if my alignment is still off, if I'm not happy with the alignment of the print to the cut, I can then go back into my advanced options, and I can make adjustments to my offset settings, and then immediately go back into my project preview screen again, and then I would select this button right here, load last. And what load last is going to do, if I select it, it's just going to move my box over to this space right here because it knows it already print and cut here, and now it's going to print and cut in another open space. That way I'm using one paper the whole time as I'm doing my advanced calibrations. And once I may end up having to do this a few times as I make adjustments to my offset or to my scale, but I will reach a point where I'm finally happy with that setting, and then I'm done with that.
And Chris, I'd just like to mention right here that if you feel like this is a lot of steps to do, that you can certainly call our customer service line and they will walk you through this step by step while you're on the phone,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you'll have that assistance with customer service. Okay, I think that covers our time for this one. And I'm going to just quickly talk. For those of you who are looking for new mats, this is what the packaging looks like. If you are going to out looking to purchase these new mats, you can check your local store who's a authorized Cricut reseller and see if they carry those. And again, you need to make sure that it's the mats for Imagine with the black line. Now these mats can be used in your Cricut Expression. You cannot use your current Cricut Expression mats in the Imagine because they do not have this line, which Chris talked about as being so important in the cutting process. For the replacement ink, this is what your ink cartridges will look like when you go to purchase additional replacements. And then we have the printable vinyl, and I know that there's been a lot of talk about the printable vinyl, and this is the printable vinyl, and there's 5 sheets in this package. Okay, we're going to take a break, and I'll come back and show you how to quickly use the original Cricut cartridge with an Imagine cartridge, and how to quickly create a project with layers.
Awesome. Okay, one last request from Chris. They want another clue.
Another clue.
They want another clue.
Not the one you gave today.
Okay, another clue.
How about we give it when we come back?
I could give one now.
Okay.
We have not entered into it any contracts with Pepsi-Cola or with Coca-Cola in endorsing this product.
We have people asking what the clue's for. Do you want to explain that real quick?
Yes, there was a video that was put out a few days ago by Ginger, and in that video she mentioned that we were going to be introducing a new product on October 11th.
November
11th on HSN, and there is a message board that I go to and answer a lot of questions on, and they asked if I would give them daily clues, and so that is my clue for what we are introducing on November 11th.
Love it. Okay, thanks you guys, and we'll be back in another 10 minutes approximately, and then we're going to make a fun little project with Christy. And then we're going to call it a night, because look, it's dark outside. Well, it's way darker than it looks out there. I remember when I showed you, first of all, and you could see the cows. Now you can't see the cows anymore. So we're going to call it a night after we make a project with Christy. Thanks.